Hey, hello everyone.
And welcome to another week of Taco Bell podcast.
Yes, we're post April Fools, thankfully. Now that I think about it, there's probably some good stories that I missed last week about April Fools.
Yeah, probably some good joke releases and joke trailers. I know there was a few.
Yeah, in the tech news, last week, I forgot to mention that Google actually purposely canceled their yearly April Fool's joke that they usually do. Usually they'll announce some weird product. I think one of the products that they announced in years past was the Smell-O-Vision, where you could
I remember that.
So yeah, weird stuff like that. Gmail was originally an April Fool's prank by Google, and then it turned into a real thing.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then there was a joke article by AnandTech, I think, or it was either AnandTech, WCCF Tech, or Video Cards. No, it was VideoCards.com. But they joked about the next AMD GPU. They announced that it was like a 50 teraflop, 32 gigabyte, like some crazy, super crazy specs, and a lot of people fell for it. I mean, we're wishful thinkers here, but maybe that's a little bit too much wishful thinking.
So now only $10.
I know. Pre-order here. And just a link to the Rick Astley music video on YouTube. Never gonna give you up.
That'd be great.
I would give them kudos for that. But anyway, that's alright. That's said and gone. We're 1 week after April Fools. Today's April 8th, the year 2020. Day 54 of quarantine.
Yep.
I'm about to lose my mind.
It feels like it's been forever.
It has. For real. Alright, I'm just checking the mic here. But yeah, it feels like it's been forever. And still the news is suffering because of it. But we still got some stories. At least on the tech side, we got some stories. I know on the game side of things, we're seeing a lot of delays.
Yep.
Indefinite delays.
Yeah.
That we're going to be covering. Some really disappointing delays. But without further ado, we'll hop right into our stories as soon as I get my list out of my pocket here. Alright, here we go. So the first story to cover in the tech sector for this week is that Verizon is canceling home internet installations during this COVID-19 panic. So, in case there's anyone out there who didn't know, Verizon supplies home internet through their Fios service. And apparently they have been canceling scheduled appointments for the installation of the internet and repairs. So not even just installation. According to some customers and 2 Verge reporters with persistent internet issues. So this can potentially leave unprecedented amount of Fios customers without wired connection at their homes, which is actually pretty tragic considering that most people are trying to keep their jobs and they're trying to do that from home.
Yeah.
So as far as what Verizon has officially stated about this, they've said, quote, "We are minimizing our in-home installation work to critical needs to keep our employees and customers safe and to reduce the spread of COVID-19. So they said that in a support document that they released. Continuing that quote, "To reduce the spread of COVID-19 and keep our employees and customers safe, we are making every attempt to perform work without going into homes or small businesses and are limiting in-home installs to medical emergencies and critical installations," Verizon tells The Verge in an official statement. So apart from the support document, self-install options are also available for qualified service orders, which is something that they announced there. But yesterday, on Tuesday, they actually changed some of the language in that support document that I first quoted, and Business Insider actually caught this. But on that support document on the website, it previously said, "Our technicians will not be able to enter your home or business to install new services or to do repair work." And so, kind of expanding on that as well. As far as the language that was changed, the original language also said, "As a result of COVID-19, we are taking precautions to keep our employees and customers safe. At this time, our technicians will not be able to enter your new home or business to install new services or to do repair work. Qualified orders will be provided. Self-install options, or you may proceed with placing an order for a technician-required installation, and it will be held for future appointment priority. You will receive notification to select an installation date when we resume operations. So, they are, they're kind of backtracking on what they originally said to, to what was originally said in the quote, and that they're trying to make it not seem like they're just halting everything, or that they absolutely will not allow certain things to happen for installations, right? So they're kind of just trying to make sure that the people don't rage at them for this decision.
Yeah.
Some users on Twitter have reported that their installations appointments have been indefinitely canceled. One of these people on Twitter said that their appointment was canceled for internet installation that they needed for a school. And then when they reached out to Verizon for help on that, Verizon replied with, "Technicians will not be able to enter your home to install new services or to do repair work." So obviously it was like a bot or an automatic reply that didn't realize that this was for a school, to teach children. So there's that. But is that really anything new for Verizon? I mean, come on. Verizon is like a big scumbag in the telecommunications industry. This just further supports that, I guess. I mean, no telecommunication, no telco company is without stain, right? But some are just bigger a-holes than others. Crazy stuff there from Verizon. There's something that Verizon is trying to do, and that's that they're rolling out a virtual assistant tech tool that allows their field technicians to interact with customers via real time through a video chat. How exactly that's going to pan out, we don't know, because people haven't shared their experiences with having that done, and it's not really a widespread solution that Verizon is trying to implement right now. So it seems more like a put a band-aid on the bleeding wound type of situation to me. We'll see. We'll see where that goes. Verizon, I fully expect Verizon to want this to just blow over and just let people complain until people forget about it. But do I think it's going to happen? No. And I think they're going to suffer because they're not treating their people right, especially right now.
Yeah, they're definitely going to lose quite a bit of people, I would assume anyway. I know I wouldn't be very happy with that if I had like internet through them and they were like, "Oh, well, we can't do nothing for you, but we're still going to charge you full price." Yeah.
Yep. And we know, I mean, I've definitely heard bad things happening right now with internet service providers all across the nation.
Yeah.
Whether that's Verizon or Cox Communications or, well, I'm not even gonna mention Time Warner because they're just terrible all the time. But that's also a bad one. But anyway, moving on from bashing Verizon, we are going to go and give a gentleman's golf clap to Google. So I'm going to do that right now. Good job, Google, because they finally released the update for Pixel 4s so that your eyes have to be open to unlock your phone.
Huzzah.
I believe we covered this a couple weeks ago. Maybe 6 weeks ago-ish, 7 weeks ago?
Something like that.
We talked about security issues on the Google Pixel 4 and kind of the general consensus of reviewers for the Pixel 4. I remember that I mentioned specifically that it was really weird how the Pixel 4 does not have a fingerprint scanner.
Yeah.
And that it only relies on those cameras to secure your phone. And that the biggest security hole was that someone could pick up your phone, hold it up to you while you were asleep, and unlock your phone that way. Like, that's nuts. That's a big security hole. I don't know how they missed that. But anyway, Google released an update for the Google Pixel 4 about, I think it was today, actually, the 8th of April, that as a security patch to require you to have your eyes open in order to unlock the phone. Which still begs the question, what if you sleep with your eyes open? Then nothing has changed. But, this update introduces the require eyes to be open feature, which is enabled by default in the phone. So apparently you can still turn it off if you want to, just with the click of your of the settings. I just find that so funny. But it offers, it offers that as an extra security measure. But you can disable it if you want. Just to be clear, in case you don't want your phone to be that secure, you can disable it. If you want your kids to unlock your phone so they can watch YouTube at 2 a.m., you can leave that open. This was actually in response to Google's announcement last October that it would roll out the feature to check whether your eyes are open in the coming months, quote unquote. So on this track record, it took them 6 months.
Yeah.
Wow, that was October. Was 6 months ago. Holy crap. In my opinion, Google got the golf clap because they implemented the feature, but come on, 6 months for that? Right. It's way too long. It's way too long.
Now that everybody's stuck inside, let's make sure nobody can open their phones while they're asleep.
Yep. So, let's see here. Just to, kind of give some context on this issue, Apple has had a similar, issue or feature, whatever you want to call it. With Face Unlock on their phones, but they have had the option or the security feature that requires your eyes to be open with Face ID to unlock since it was introduced in 2017. Jesus. So a long time ago, and that was part of the iPhone X, original iPhone X. Alongside this implementation of the feature with the Pixel 4. The rest of the update for the Pixel 4 also corrects issues for Bluetooth audio signals while on calls, and on call specifically because normal music playback was fine, and addresses a weird bug that made opening the keyboard lag on the phone for some apps. So some just really weird bugs. That is further solidifying people's buyer's remorse for getting the Pixel 4.
Yeah.
One of my coworkers at my last job was gonna buy the Pixel 4 release day, and I was like, "Don't do it, man." I'm like, "Always wait for the reviews. As hyped as you want to be, wait for the reviews and then buy it, because you can wait a week or two for review embargoes to come up, and then you can get the gist of it, see what's wrong, see what's good about it, and then see whether the good about it can live in harmony with you being okay with what's bad about it, right?" And so, unfortunately for the Pixel 4, it was kind of a dumpster fire of a phone, and we're still dealing with it today. But congrats to all you Pixel 4 owners out there that can have a more secure phone now, if you want to. You don't have to if you want it.
I think the only thing keeping me from upgrading is still the fact that there's no fingerprint scanner.
Right.
I hate the fact that you have to unlock it with your face.
Yeah, because I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's much more natural to just pick up a phone and put my finger on the fingerprint scanner on the back than it is to pick up my phone, not put my finger in the place where I'd usually have the fingerprint scanner anyway, and then hold it up to my face. That just seems like an extra step that I'd have to train myself to get used to again. And I'd just rather not, So we'll keep our eyes out for the Pixel 4a. That's expected to be released at the end of May.
We'll see if that actually happens, though. With the whole coronavirus thing, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw delays.
Yeah, I'm hoping they wouldn't delay it. There's a good chance it might, not only because of the obvious, window of not being able to announce it at a formal event, but also just supply chain issues from China, getting components, basic components, circuit boards, capacitors, transistors.
And then them even considering the fact that, people aren't going out right now, so it might not be the best time to release a phone because the sales aren't probably going to be that great if everyone's staying inside and not going out.
True. So most of the phone buzz right now is actually for newly released Chinese phones. Like Red Magic, we're seeing Oppo's being released. OnePlus rumors, for the OnePlus, I guess 8 is they're running rampant right now. So I'm not going to talk about those right now because I have other stories I want to talk about. But just know that that's going on, and China has been in front of the battle for against the COVID-19. So they're recovering from it. So I think that's why we're seeing more stuff about their phones than ours right now. But yeah, Google Pixel 4a. I'm excited for it.
Hopefully it's better than the regular 4.
I mean, we've been seeing leaks about this phone for like the past 4 months, and it looks really promising. So we just have to wait till it actually comes out and we can have it in our hands.
And confirm the leaks.
Yep. Moving on to our third story of the day. It's actually a story about the UK and how nice they are to their citizens. And I'm not even being facetious or exaggerative, because apparently UK mobile carriers sent out a nicely worded letter asking people to stop burning 5G towers.
Yes.
Yeah.
The conspiracy theories.
Yes. So apparently, there's a big conspiracy theory right now, and I mean, I don't blame everyone else for knowing this, but me being a tech head, I understand where the suspicion can come from. But it literally takes you like 5 minutes of your time to Google how frequencies and radio waves work to figure out that the conspiracies don't line up. But for those of you who are unaware of the current conspiracy, there's a conspiracy that 5G, or that the rollout of 5G mobile networks around the world and in the US have caused people to get weak and be more susceptible, or sometimes some conspiracy theories even say that 5G is directly transmitting COVID-19 to people, which is absolutely ridiculous, because you cannot transmit a virus over a radio wave, and people are just ridiculous. So that one's right out of the basket. Debunk number 2. Waves, unless they're like a super strong wave, like at a certain frequency, at certain ridiculously high frequencies, only those waves can hurt you. If you were to stare straight at your microwave, you're gonna cook your eyes.
Yeah.
Of course, modern microwaves are designed with those little holes in the window of your microwave so that the waves don't pass through them. Yes, the holes in your microwave, which if you look at them right now, they're pretty big holes.
Yeah.
But those holes are big enough, or rather small enough, to stop radio waves from your microwave from cooking your eyeballs while you're making yourself a bag of popcorn. Fun fact. So, just take a second to think. 5G. Alright, I'll get back to the story, I promise. Let me go on my monologue here. 5G. I wonder how many people know what 5G stands for. Ruben, do you know what 5G stands for?
I can honestly say no.
Okay. And that's okay, because it's really pointless. The G in 5G stands for generation. So all it means is that this is the 5th generation of wireless data transmittal technology that has been adopted as a standard with mobile carriers worldwide. So, it adheres to a certain standard of the certain frequency that it uses in the air to transmit data, and it has to adhere to a certain speed to be considered 5G. I don't know if anyone out there remembers, or if you remember, Ruben, but there was a whole fiasco about 4G back in the day, and I remember this very clearly because it was a battle between Verizon, and it was a battle between AT&T. It was between those two, and there was this whole war about who had the real 4G technology.
I do remember that.
Verizon had 4G LTE. Which I don't remember what LTE stands for right now, because I haven't brushed up on my wireless technology acronyms. But essentially, LTE was a brand new infrastructure that was implemented specifically for 4G speeds, and it was really reliable and it was really fast. It just needed an adoption period for LTE to be available to everyone across the nation. It was available in some parts, but connection was spotty. And then you had AT&T. And there's a whole fiasco about AT&T not having real 4G because they did not use LTE. They used a technology that was called HSPA+, which was basically a frequency-boosted version of their HSPA technology, which was 3G. And so basically what AT&T did was, let's slap a turbocharger on it and call it 4G. And so, their HSPA plus 4G technology, although it met most of the requirements for 4G as a standard, did not live up to the hype. It was not as fast as LTE. It wasn't as reliable as LTE. And I remember AT&T kind of getting a bad rap during that rollout. And, everyone was just like, if you want fast, wireless connectivity through your phone, then you'll just get Verizon with LTE. And that still remains the case because eventually AT&T did dump their HSPA Plus platform for 4G and actually just went ahead and implemented actual LTE 4G. So rewind back to 5G and the conversation here. 5G is just a standard of wireless transmittal through mobile carriers and what they've implemented. So anyway, back to the UK situation. Rant over. Sorry. So in the UK, there's been the top 4 mobile operators in the UK issued a joint statement asking for help to stop people burning 5G towers. So there was apparently last week there was multiple 5G towers that were targeted in arson attacks. And these were mainly fueled by the online conspiracy theories that have been linking, the spread of coronavirus to the rollout of 5G. There's no scientific evidence to back this up. Funny enough, it's just people just spreading information, as most conspiracy theories are, right? And so in the official statement that these 4 carriers released together, these carriers are EE. So keep in mind these are UK, so like we don't recognize them here in the US because they don't exist here. But the 4 carriers are EE, O2, Vodafone, and 3. So those are the 4 major carriers of cell phone service over there in the UK. But they came together to issue this document, and then in the document it says, not only are these claims baseless, they are harmful for the people and businesses that rely on the continuity of our services. They have also led to the abuse of our engineers and in some cases prevented essential network maintenance taking place, which is absolutely true. In the UK, most of their internet infrastructure comes from the infrastructure that's in place already by the mobile carriers. So it's a lot more essential over there than it is here in the US, where we can burn a 5G tower, but we still have, copper wires running internet through the ground for us, right? So it's a little bit more dire circumstance over there in the UK. So they're being pretty light with their words in this official statement. They've also said, please help us to make this stop. If you witness abuse of our key workers, please report it. If you see misinformation, please call it out. And so it just says, thank you, signed EE, O2, 3, and Vodafone. So, really interesting stuff going on there. What's going on in the UK? They might be going crazier faster than we are here in the US. It's just, it's crazy that, to me, being a tech head, of course, it's crazy to me that people are taking that seriously and actually committing acts of arson on 5G towers. It's like there's so much deep irony in that.
Yeah.
The fact that there's so much work, so much brain power into developing technologies like 5G wireless connectivity, having to physically build up a tower for the transmission of essential and important information for the education of humans. And then humans just go in and be dumbasses and then go and burn those towers down. Like, how ironic is that, man? Like, it's almost poetic. Like, I'm sure I can write a story about that and it would make a great, young adult fan fiction movie. Just like Hunger Games or Divergent, which I just finished the Divergent series last week. I loved it. But, probably a little more than Hunger Games, actually.
Really?
I'd say. Yeah, but that's a discussion for another time. In the meantime, UK, they're what are they doing besides these companies, politely asking people to stop committing acts of arson? The UK's Culture Secretary Oliver Dowden is also planning to hold virtual meetings with representatives from a number of various tech companies sometime this week to discuss the problem. YouTube itself revealed, during last weekend that it's reducing the number of videos it recommends which spread false claims that 5G is linked to coronavirus. So, they're doing their part there already. Some more information on mobile carriers in the UK. They are classified officially as critical national infrastructure. So, these attacks on these towers at a time like this, is another kind of like nail in the coffin for UK trying to battle the ongoing pandemic over there. And so, kind of as a cherry on top, one more statement here. The CEO of Vodafone, whose name is Nick Jeffrey, he calls these attacks a quote-unquote matter of national security, and also personally pleaded with people to, not share false information and, of course, not burn down 5G towers.
Yeah.
That's a given, but, if he didn't say it, he didn't say it, so he had to say it. Wild. UK people, don't come over to the US, please. We already have enough problems to deal with. We have our own idiots, thank you. But enough about bashing on the UK or their structure for their internet. Last tech story of the day actually comes from a notification about another major data breach by Marriott Hotels.
Ooh.
So if you remember, I think it was about a year ago, they announced that there was a major data breach with Marriott.
Uh-huh.
And so they just announced earlier this week another major data breach with Marriott Hotels that impacts over 5 million guests.
Jesus.
So I believe the last hack was also about 5 million, if I remember correctly. This data breach is the second that it's had in recent years, which actually the first breach would happen in 2018. So we're in 2020 and there was another data breach. Personal information such as names, birth dates, and phone numbers may have been taken in the breach, along with language preferences and loyalty account numbers that are stored, that are Marriott loyalty account numbers. The investigation on how this happened is still in progress. And an official statement, of course, Marriott says that there is no reason to believe that payment information was leaked. But it's an information leaked. If you gave Marriott any of your information...
Yeah, I was going to say, I would think it'd be safe to assume that got out as well.
Yeah. So, it's all PR, right? So they're saying that there's no reason to believe that payment information was leaked. But if you gave your payment information to Marriott within the last couple years, it's most likely available for someone to just grab up somewhere in a file dump on the internet.
Yep.
So just keep that in mind. Marriott says that it discovered in late February, so about a month ago, that an unspecified hotel chain system had been compromised and guest information may have been examined by hackers that acquired the login credentials of 2 Marriott employees. The company has reason to believe that the activity began as early as mid-January.
Jeez.
So that's a compromised, system for months. Like, that's bad. That's really bad. That's usually what it takes for a data breach like this to happen, is that something in their security policy has to be really, really bad. Apparently, the whole was one Marriott location, which they won't rat out for obvious reasons, and then 2 employees in particular. So they know who these employees are, and those employees are probably going to get fired. Or at least we'd expect them to be, right?
Can't have your password set as password.
That's honestly, oh my gosh. So my new job, right? I work IT, and my main job right now is to add new employees to our system, and then once I've given them their appropriate files, permissions, and accounts, I call them and I give them the IT orientation, which is getting them logged into their computer, setting up their passwords for the first time, getting them logged into the systems for the first time, showing them the ropes, right? Mm-hmm. And part of our call script for that is going over our password policy. So for every person that I help get their password set up for the first time, I have to tell them, just a quick reminder, remember that your password, according to our policy, has to be at least 8 characters long, has to include a number, a special character, and cannot be your name, the name of your location, where you're working at currently, password, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have to tell that to every person that I take through the orientation.
He didn't say anything about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah. Yeah. So, oh my gosh, I'm sure someone has done that somewhere, and if they did, there's no way for me to see what their password is. They type it in, and I just hope that they follow the thing. Though I can't see anyone's password, I can only reset it, right? So I just cross my fingers and hope they're actually listening to me. But yeah, that's the way it goes in my job. So I'm willing to bet that these two employees at Marriott had passwords, like you mentioned.
Or admin.
Yep, admin, password, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or Marriott.
Oh my god.
So, just stuff, dumb stuff like that I'm sure was the root cause of this, this data breach, this huge data breach with Marriott. Again, for the second time in the last 2 years. As far as what Marriott has done about this, they've notified guests whose information may have been taken via email and launched a dedicated website containing resources for those affected. The company is also providing a personal information monitoring service to guests whose information may have been stolen. So a lot like the Equifax breach that they're offering, credit monitoring and stuff like that. Marriott is offering something very similar with a personal information monitoring service to those people who are definitely affected. Because Marriott knows whether information has been stolen, they just don't know what has been stolen. Infuriating. To kind of reiterate here, in late 2018, the hotel, Marriott, they disclosed the first data breach, which impacted up to 500 million guests. So 100 times worse than this data breach.
Jesus.
And then this also the first data breach in 2018 also included information that was stored under Marriott's subsidiary company, Starwood, which they had acquired in 2016. According to Marriott, they said that the data breach comprised 327 million records, including personal information such as mailing addresses and passport numbers. In the UK, Marriott was fined $123 million last year for that hack. So, do I think that fine is small? Yes. For a company like Marriott, that's a slap on the hand.
And for how many people were affected?
Yeah. So, is it going to happen again? Yes. Let's see. Okay. This podcast will still be happening in 2022. It's going to take an act of God to kill me before that happens. But 2022, I'm going to set a reminder on my phone that in April of 2022 to remind me if Marriott has had another data breach by then.
It wouldn't be surprising.
Yeah. So we'll keep you guys updated on that. But as far as the tech stories for today, I am all storied out. So that means that the mic and the time is now yours, Ruben.
Heard that, sir. All right, well, first up, I don't know if you know about this or not, but I would imagine so. The PlayStation 5 controller was actually revealed today.
I saw that.
With a lot of mixed reviews. A lot of people, myself included. Have you seen the pictures, sir?
Yes. I've seen the original photo of the controller in white, which is what it was released in.
Yeah.
And I've also seen some pretty good, basic color photoshops to where it's all blacked out, like traditional, PS4 fashion.
Yeah, the all black one looks sick.
It does.
Because I did see that Photoshop.
I admire that.
In my personal opinion, it looks to me like an Xbox controller.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
I know I'm not alone. I've seen other people in comments, supposed PlayStation 4 fans or PlayStation fans who are like, I don't like this. It reminds me of Xbox, and I hate their controllers. I'm not saying it's a bad thing that it looks like an Xbox controller, because this controller looks sick. It's definitely my favorite PlayStation controller. Along with the new design, they moved the light bar on PlayStation 4. It was at the very top, and they moved it to be on the sides of the touchpad. They got...
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, they have adaptive triggers. The battery in this controller is actually going to be recharged by USB-C instead of micro USB, which is nice.
Nice.
And for the first time that I've ever noted, the controller actually has a built-in microphone, so you don't have to have a headset if you don't want to.
Oh, that's going to be super interesting.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it works good, because it's very easy for it to work bad.
Right. And if it's a good microphone, so if you have a good microphone in the controller, and good drivers for that microphone to, for noise cancellation, so you're not hearing everything that's going on in the background, it's going to be a pricey controller.
Yeah. I have heard as well that the PlayStation 5 is still going to ship with a headset, so I could see it being not particularly good and only being meant to hold you over until you buy a new headset if your headset were to break.
Yeah. I can see that.
And then they also switched, I want to say it's their menu button with a button that is now for creating, which I would assume is for recording or uploading videos or whatever.
Streaming, screenshotting, that sort of thing.
Another new thing on this controller actually is the middle button on it isn't just the button, it's actually the PlayStation emblem, the logo.
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen that or not.
Yeah, it's not like a circular button with the PlayStation logo embedded in it. It's actually cut out to the PlayStation logo,
which I also like. I think it looks really
super
nice.
Clean.
Let's see here.
Now, I will say, while you're gathering your thoughts on that my biggest gripe with all the PlayStation controllers is the fact that the thumbsticks are right next to each other. Now, keep in mind, before any of you start bashing me, I grew up with the PlayStation 1 as my first console. And I played that thing a lot until it died. So, I grew up on the PlayStation 1 controller with the thumbsticks next to each other. I had many bleeding nights where, my thumbnail was separated from the skin on my thumb from twiddling the thumbsticks a lot. And I remember when I switched over to Xbox 360 as a console, that controller just felt so good in the hands, and the thumbstick placement, the oblong placement, the asymmetrical design of the thumbstick just felt so much better. It just felt a lot more comfortable to use. And so my gripe ever since then with all the PlayStation controllers is that the thumbsticks are right next to each other, and that has not changed on this new controller. So I'm assuming that the grip, how you hold the controller, feels much better because that's just what it looks like right now. But I don't know. I don't think I'll be able to get over the two, the thumbsticks being right next to each other.
Yeah, I would definitely like to see I'm not 100% sure if PlayStation has had these type of controllers. I know Xbox has, where you can actually move the D-pad and analog if you want to. Like, you can take them off and move their placements.
Yeah. I've seen some Mad Catz controllers like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. And then along with this controller, they announced before that it's going to have haptic feedback and adaptive triggers, which they're basically stating that depending on the actions in your video games, it's supposed to make it feel more immersive. Mm-hmm. So, the controller will feel different from a racing game where you're, drifting through dirt or whatever, as opposed to, a game where you're shooting, or, Horizon Zero Dawn, drawing a bow. It's all supposed to feel vastly different with this controller, which I thought is super interesting.
Yeah, for the bow and arrow, if you draw, for example, I've never played Horizon Zero Dawn, so I don't know if this is true or not, but imagine, your right, your R2 being the trigger to draw your bow. Imagine your R2 being harder to press the more that you press it down when you draw your bow. That would be dope.
That would be sick.
That'd be super immersive. Or in games where you have to mash a certain button to fill up a meter, and the closer you get to filling up the meter, the more you have to mash. Imagine your button getting harder to mash when you get to the top of the meter.
And then I think they can do a lot more with the fact that there's a mic in the controller. I think we might potentially see some interesting things with certain games with that.
Horror games,
noise detection, definitely.
That'd be sick.
And then let's see, for the controller, that's all I have. I'm definitely excited as an Xbox fan. I'm looking forward to, seeing when this is on shelves and being able to try them out at demo stations because I will eventually want a PlayStation 5. It's inevitable, Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
Which is another story.
No.
Last of Us 2 and Iron Man VR have been indefinitely delayed, which happened the day after our last podcast, I believe.
Wow. We miss all the good stories, man.
Yeah. Unfortunately, due to coronavirus and because they feel that they cannot properly give users the experience they want to give at this moment, Last of Us and Iron Man have been both indefinitely delayed, and with that, they have actually started issuing refunds for Last of Us pre-orders.
Dang.
Because they don't know when exactly they're going to be able to get it out.
Oh, that's serious if they're refunding pre-orders, man. Because a huge amount of the costs covered immediately for games and game development is pre-orders.
Yeah, it's definitely going to hurt. I don't see it being a major dent for them, being that they are part of PlayStation now, Naughty Dog. They've been part of PlayStation. But yeah, dude, that's super unfortunate. I was looking so forward to playing this, and they're like indefinite delays. That doesn't happen too often, so it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
Especially because it was so close to being finished.
Yeah. Because they've been working on it for a while, too.
Oh, yeah.
In other news, Biomutant still has not been released. Just wanted to chime in with that.
Hopefully,
continue.
Hopefully before your Marriott alarm. Put that in a side note. Is Biomutant out?
Yeah.
Some lighter coronavirus news, though. Google is giving everyone who has a Gmail account 2 months of Stadia Pro.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I have Stadia Pro.
Basically, yeah. If you, as long as you go up and claim it. See, they say anyone can sign up. You know, Stadia Pro normally goes for $10 a month and currently provides access to 9 games. Destiny 2, Grid, Guilt, Metro Exodus, SteamWorld Dig 2, SteamWorld Quest, Hand of Gigamech, Thumper, and the Serious Sam collection. Let's see, Splitlings and Stacks on Stacks. Keep in mind, if you do claim this, you are still basically paying for it if you don't have unlimited internet, as it will eat your data. So just keep an eye out on
fast.
that. Yes. Depending on what quality you're going for. If you want to stream it in the highest quality, you're not going to get much gameplay out of it if you don't have unlimited. So just keep an eye out on that.
Yep.
Let's see. Google didn't specify which countries the Stadia Pro offer will be available, and no matter where you live, it might not be available in your area yet. The announcement states that the rollout will take place over the next 48 hours. And they announced that about 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today on the 8th. So
that was around 10 o'clock our time.
Yeah. Let's see here.
And the only reason I know that off the top of my head is because I have to call a bunch of people around the U.S. to get them set up with their IT stuff for my job.
And then another heads up. Google said that with so many people now gaming from home, it's going to adopt a YouTube-like policy where it's going to try and save some bandwidth by dropping most people's resolution from the default 4K to 1080p. However, you can still go in and change it yourself back to 4K if you'd like.
That's not a bad drop, though. Like, for most people on most TVs or most monitors that they're playing on, 1080p is definitely enough of a pixel per inch density. That's just my opinion, though. I'm not a pixel peeper. I don't think I ever will be because I can't afford to be a pixel peeper. But let my opinion be known on that.
And then I have an interesting story that I think you'll like, sir. It kind of does a callback to a story we did, I want to say, 2 weeks ago.
All right.
So you remember that program you were telling me about where you can use your computer to automatically solve like stuff to help with the aid of certain diseases and stuff?
Yes, folding at home.
Okay, well, sir, Borderlands 3 has actually added a new arcade machine in Sanctuary 3 in the corner of Dr. Tannis's infirmary, where you can play it and it basically does what that does.
Okay. So it crowdsources computer power in order to run calculations, essentially.
Basically, except it's more interactive. It's an actual like puzzle game where it let's see, it says it's a game that involves mapping and comparing microbes, a task that even the most complex supercomputer is not good at. As human players, completing these puzzles will not only help in the real world, but will earn you in-game currency and certain timed buffs.
Nice. Yeah. That's absolutely true. Supercomputers are good at running instruction sets, but they're not really good at at least traditional supercomputers are not really good at problem solving in the traditional sense that humans can.
It says playing this game will actually help the scientists spot computer errors in their sequences, helping scientists compare the data and learn more about the human gut, and the data will ultimately be used to combat various diseases. I also know that each stage, if you will, in the arcade machine has like a max high score, but that level technically isn't complete even if you hit that high score. Like there's still more you can do on certain levels.
Yeah.
But I thought this was super interesting because I had never even heard of the computer program that you told me about those weeks ago, and to see it involved in a game is super cool, especially it being interactive. However, I do think it's kind of shoddy that they included it into Borderlands 3 instead of like a standalone app or something.
Yeah.
Especially because especially with the recent news about them not paying people.
Yeah, I definitely see that. I think the reason why they're wanting to do that, and that it's not a standalone game, is that they want to still drive traffic towards the player base of Borderlands 3, and somehow like still maintain relevancy in the market during tough times like this, and they're just taking advantage of the fact that you can help fight this by playing that game in Borderlands 3. So like to them, in their mind, I'm sure it's like a win-win situation where they boost their numbers during these tough times to pull more money, and they also do it for a good cause too. So I think that's what their train of thought is. Not completely selfless, but still greedy by nature.
They're like, no, look, we're the good guys, we swear.
Yeah.
And then I have one final thing. It's not really a story, more of a deal of the day because it's not going to be available for a week. But on Fanatical, there is a Sega Mega Drive and Genesis Classics bundle, which is normally $30. It's on sale for $9, and with it includes some of the biggest, Sega hits. You got Sonic 1 through 3, Sonic CD, Sonic Spinball, Streets of Rage 1 through 3, Golden Axe 1 through 3, Altered Beast, Virtua Fighter. Like there's a bunch of hits in here for $9. Not bad. I'm gonna be honest, I was not paying attention to LCS the last 2 weeks, so I don't know if it ended 2 weeks ago or last weekend.
I believe it was 2 weeks ago, because now we're in the playoff rounds for LCS. And so I'm currently looking this up right now because I didn't really look that, I didn't really pay attention to it myself either. All I know is that that it's happening, and that teams are playing each other for playoff spots. Like the top 16s, the top 3 get to actually make it to playoffs.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really pay close attention to it. I'm trying to find the stats here to back up what I'm about to say, but basically, I believe for the first round of playoffs, certain teams got to pick who they play against, and Cloud9 chose to play against 100 Thieves for the first round, for round 1 of the playoffs, and Cloud9 won with a convincing 3-0.
Dude, they should have manned up and went against TSM since they lost to them.
I know, right? So because of that 3-0 with Cloud9, 100 Thieves are out of playoffs, and so C9 did advance. Part of that bracket there was Evil Geniuses versus FlyQuest, and Evil Geniuses beat FlyQuest 3-1. So the next round will be Cloud9 versus Evil Geniuses. So that'll happen this week. And then in the second set of brackets for losers of those games, it was 100 Thieves versus TSM, and TSM beat 100 Thieves 3-2. So much closer. I was actually watching the TSM and 100 Thieves games today before the podcast. I didn't watch all 5 games, but I did see a couple of games. I watched game 3, I believe. And so that was, I believe, at game 3, 100 Thieves was 2 wins, and TSM was at 1, I believe. So I think TSM ran it back that way and won 3-2.
Dang.
And then it was FlyQuest versus Golden Guardians, and FlyQuest beat Golden Guardians 3-0.
Oof.
They got stopped. Yeah. So sorry for my boy Grayson Gilmer, Golden Glue from the Golden Guardians. GG.
That's a tongue twister.
Yeah. I'm surprised I said it all in one go, to be honest. But they lost, and so of the loser bracket, it's going to be TSM versus FlyQuest. And then from there, it's going to be, whoever wins from Evil Geniuses versus Cloud9 will be automatically bracketed into the finals. And then whoever wins from FlyQuest and TSM will have to play round 3 versus the loser of the Cloud9 versus Evil Geniuses set. So I'm pretty sure Cloud9 is going to beat Evil Geniuses for the final round, and then I'm pretty sure it's going to be a Evil Geniuses versus TSM for a round 3 to determine who plays in the finals versus Cloud9. Because Cloud9 is pretty dominant right now. I don't see anyone taking them down so easily. I don't see them winning the finals 3-0, maybe 3-1. But I'm pretty sure it's gonna be we have to be in some kind of parallel dimension where C9 does not win playoffs here in order to go to MSI. So those are my thoughts on it. Again, I haven't really paid close attention to all the games, but I will say, kind of going back to the Cloud9 versus 100 Thieves selection, because Cloud9 did select 100 Thieves for the first round. I remember while the games were going on, I wasn't watching them. But while the games were going on, Christian Rivera, a.k.a. I Will Dominate, on Twitter, he tweeted, due to the nature of these recent LCS games, the streaming will be moved to Pornhub. And so, I haven't looked up, I want to look up the, I'm trying to see if I can find the score here for that game. Mainly because I want to see just how bad Cloud9 was beating 100 Thieves for that. So maybe some endgame stats or something like that. So I think I thought I found it here, but the match history isn't loading from Riot's website. Let's see. I'll try another link here. See if that loads. Nope. Error 500. But I'll see if I can find them here in a second to kind of go over some impressive stats on that.
All right. Well, while you're looking that up, sir, I actually do have one more thing that I wanted to talk about while we're on the subject of League. Riot's new shooter, Valorant. Obviously, the beta's going on right now, and they actually had a record-breaking day on Twitch.
Wow.
So many people watched that the game broke single-day hours watched record in a single game category with 34 million hours watched.
Wow.
And it hit a peak concurrent viewer total of 1.7 million, which is second only to the 2019 League of Legends World Championship.
Dang.
I don't know if you happened to hop on Twitch anytime while this was going on, but I know I did, and when you looked at the game categories, it was in the top watched one.
Dang.
And
surprised.
I don't remember exactly what was second, but I remember Valorant was in first place, and then League of Legends was actually in third, I believe.
Yeah. I can see that.
I've been trying so hard to avoid videos on this game because I want it to be total surprise for me.
Yeah.
I mean, if I got a beta key, I would obviously play it. But
right.
Let's see. Any update on those stats yet, sir?
Well, currently not really, but I went on the r/Cloud9 Reddit, and the top comment on the comment of those games was that, dang, 100 Thieves almost had us if it wasn't for the coach, top, jungle, mid, ADC, and support difference. Org difference is the second one there. But yeah, I'm still trying to find, maybe like a Riot, stat view of that to kind of look that up. But I am not finding where that would be, or if Riot even post that. I'll try and look up the schedule here real quick to see, because these are going to be interesting stats for sure. Cloud9 pretty much freaking dominated 100 Thieves for that round. So I am going to go ahead and search here for a little bit, watch the schedule. I'm going to filter it by NA, LCS, because that's the only one I want to see. I do not want LCK or LEC. I just want LCS. Well, let's see if it'll pop up here. There we go. So let's go ahead and see if we can pop up some stats here on that. LOL Esports, please load. I do not want to watch the game, so we will get rid of that. Let's go ahead and do the drop down. No, it will not show me any stats. It will just show me the video of the game, so that's disappointing. Dang it, Riot. You had one job. Just show me the stats. But anyway, it was pretty embarrassing, I'm sure. 100 Thieves, probably the weakest team to make it into the playoffs there for NA, and then Cloud9 being the strongest team by far.
I got some stats. Oh my god.
Alright, read them off.
Alright, so game 1, Cloud9, obviously, like we said, 3-0. Cloud9's gold, 56.2 thousand. 100 Thieves, 42.6 thousand.
Oh my gosh. 14k gold difference?
Yeah. C9 had 21 kills, 100 Thieves had 3.
Yep.
Cloud9 got 11 towers, 100 Thieves 0. 2 inhibs, Cloud9 0 for 100 Thieves, obviously, with no inhibs. Cloud9 got the only Baron and 3 dragons. 100 Thieves only got 1 dragon.
Jeez.
Jesus. Alright.
How long was that game?
That game, let's see here if it says the length. Oh wow, it doesn't say the length.
Okay, not important. It's a lot of gold.
Oh yeah. Niski went 8-0. Licorice 2-0. Sven 6-1. Blabber 5-1. Alright, game 2, sir. 46,500 gold to 31.9 thousand.
Ooh, shorter game.
14 kills to 3, 11 towers to 1, so they actually got a tower that time.
Ooh, it's probably in a trade.
Cloud9 got all 3 inhibs, 1 Baron and 2 dragons, while 100 Thieves only got 1 dragon again. Game 3, we got 57,000 gold on the side of Cloud9 to 48,000 on 100 Thieves. 18-6 in terms of kills, 7-4 in terms of towers. C9 only got 1 inhib that game, and a Baron and 3 dragons.
Dang.
100 Thieves actually did decent in their last game, but
yeah, I was about to say, we see a steady incline in performance there with 100 Thieves for those playoff games, so maybe if this was a best, 9 out of 17 game playoff, then 100 Thieves maybe would have had a chance.
What's interesting is Niski got to play Zoe in every game. 100 Thieves did not ban Zoe.
Dang.
And in every game, he went 8-0 first game, 7-0 second game, and then 4-0 the last game.
It looks like 100 Thieves is not really prioritizing their mid-draft at all.
Oof.
Well, I think their mid-laner's Ryoma, right? He's not a
Yeah.
He's not a very good mid-laner right now,
See,
unfortunately for him.
He went Syndra first game and went 0-4.
Oh!
Syndra the second game 0-2.
Oh my gosh.
And then he learned his lesson and played LeBlanc and went 1-1.
Adapt, overcome. Poor 100 Thieves. They got stomped.
Bad.
They got stomped pretty bad, man. But, oh well, that's what happens when you play against the best team in the league by far, you know? They probably could have 3-0'd any other team in the league, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, rip in peace, NA. Cloud9 is yet again our hope for Worlds. We'll see how they do at MSI. Kind of away from NA, though, I do know that I do know that Mad Lions pulled up an upset victory over G2 for the LEC playoffs. So I'm actually going to bring that up here and see if they actually, won the series to advance in playoffs, or what the deal is with that. Again, I don't follow LEC, so I wouldn't know, but I just did hear that that happened. And oh my goodness, so that did happen, Ruben. So in playoffs in LEC, Mad Lions beat G2 Esports, the number 2 team in the world as of last Worlds. They beat them 3-2 in a set for LEC Spring Split. So they beat them in the first round of playoffs. So G2 still can make into it, going up through losers bracket. But I'm pretty sure that's the case there. But let's see here. I just want to confirm before I leave that here. But yeah, so Mad Lions was like one of the weakest teams in the LEC from what I remember. But they have been doing pretty well. They made they made playoffs, obviously. Now a lot of people are kind of criticizing this because it is an online tournament, and so they're saying that Mad Lions had their best shot because they were not in a live setting, and there's lots of rookies on Mad Lions, and so that benefited them. Meanwhile, G2 is a bunch of veterans that are used to playing in the limelight and things like that. So, this was kind of like a perfect storm for Mad Lions, I suppose. But so the Mad Lions will move on in the LEC Spring Playoffs to play against Fnatic or Origin, and regardless of the result, has guaranteed itself a top 3 finish in the postseason. And then for G2, they will have to regroup and climb up the loser side of the bracket, which I think they totally can do, but it's going to be a tough fight.
For sure.
Yeah, but that's all the league discussion of the championship series that I have for this week.
I don't believe I have anything more to discuss, sir.
Mm-hmm. I have watched Valorant videos, by the way, and it looks pretty dope.
Does it?
Just saying.
Off of the graphics that I've seen, I know it's obviously supposed to be like Overwatch meets Counter-Strike, but the graphics to me seem very Team Fortressy kind of.
Yeah. Think of CS:GO with like a Team Fortress skin on it, and then the characters that you play as have abilities that you can use too. So I know you don't want to picture it in your head, but that's what I can describe it as. Just watching videos. I'm definitely up to play it. I'm not an FPS player, but I'm definitely up to play it. It looks like it can be a quick, fast-paced FPS shooter that, given some practice, I'm pretty sure I could get the hang of it.
I know I'm gonna like it. I just don't want. I want all the hype to be there for me, like day one when I play.
Yeah.
Especially
when you hit launch.
Especially since I don't see us having to wait super long since they said that it's they're trying to shoot for it to be out by summer of this year, which is right around the corner.
Yeah, May or June.
So I'm gonna hold out.
Wise, for sure. But do we have anything else to discuss? I'm all out.
I think I am solid, sir.
Mm-hmm. All right, then we're right at our hour mark anyway, so I think that's a good place to end the stream. Or not the stream, since we don't stream, we pre-record. That's a good place to end the episode for today.
Tell me why halfway through I was like, oh my god, we didn't go live. I was thinking in my head, and then I was like, wait a minute.
Like, we do this every week. Why are we worried about it? I don't know. What's wrong with us? But we'll give our usual outro here. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We appreciate the support. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Mocospace, and Google+. Go ahead and tune in all there.
Like, share, subscribe.
Yes, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's where we post a lot of videos. A lot of people seem to enjoy consuming the podcast there. Or if YouTube's not your thing for whatever reason, go check us out on Spotify. If you go to anchor.fm/talkaboutpodcast, you'll find links to listen to our podcast on whatever platform you use to listen to your podcast. And we appreciate the listeners and the viewership as always.
And if you're like, man, I really want to hear this show live instead of on YouTube, just share us around. we get enough viewers, we will definitely go back onto Twitch. However, it seems most of you watch on YouTube rather than Twitch, so we kind of stopped that for a little while.
Yep, and we've also talked about streaming on YouTube as well. So maybe streaming on YouTube Live is something that you guys are interested in as well. So we'll look into that for the future as well.
Definitely, any kind of feedback, all feedback's good feedback.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and still keep in mind we're still gonna have that Chipotle gift card giveaway again. So trust me, I'm not leading you on here, although I kind of am. But just keep posted for that. We'll be announcing it in all of our channels here. So without further ado, we will leave you guys and talk to you next week.